Hi everybody, and
Hello.
welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are, as always, your hosts Arne and Carlos, and we bring you weekly tutorials every single week.
Yeah.
So if you are not a subscriber but you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you like our video, please give it some thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. Yes. So we're knitting hats this week, and hats are something that it's super fun to knit a hat. They're super easy, especially if you use bulky yarns like the ones we're using. This week we are using a yarn from Rowan, which is called Cocoon, and Cocoon is 80% merino and about 20% mohair. So it's a very light, slightly hairy, but very lightweight yarn, which is beautiful, and it's really easy to knit. So if you're a new beginner and you want an easy yarn for a project, we highly recommend a bulky yarn like this. And then you can use needle number 6mm
6 up to 8,
or 7mm or even
maybe
8mm. Today
depends on your tension.
Yes. So today, the hat that we're doing today is done in a very special technique, which we call twined knitting. The original name in Norwegian is tvíbåndsstikking.
Yeah, it means you knit with two ends.
That's what it basically means, twined knitting. And we're going to show you the technique. We're going to tell you a little bit about why we do this in Scandinavia. And by the end of the tutorial, you'll be able to go get yourself some yarns and start knitting a great hat like this. And don't worry if you don't catch everything, because we always post a pattern on our blog. So go to arnecarlos.com, select the blog, and you'll find the pattern. I think that the link is turning up somewhere over Arne's head. And also we've already done a few other tutorials on hats that we're also posting in a link above Arne's head. So
Yes,
Arne,
we are.
let's show the technique,
Yeah.
and then we can, and then you can knit a little bit while we talk about this kind of style and why we use it in Scandinavia.
So this is the way I learned from my mother. There are probably other ways, but this is how they did it when I was a kid, the women in my family. And normally they made the twine band with twined knitting with only one color. So they had two ends of the same color. And the first time I saw it with two contrasting colors was in a Swedish pattern. So I think maybe that's more Swedish, but like from where I come from, they did it only in one color. And the way they knit it is that the yarn has to twist every time you make a stitch. So, and you have to change for every stitch. So now I knit the white goes, this time it goes over, then the green goes over, and I knit it. The white goes over, so it goes over and on the finger. And this way you change color for every stitch. What happened is that the yarn gets really messy.
Yeah, tangled up.
It's all tangled up. But if it doesn't get tangled, you're not doing
it
correctly, because at least the way we do it where I come from. Probably other people who can make it without, but this, like the tangling of the knit is kind of, so that what's happened when you do this kind of knitting. So, and there's also a way that they what you call that? You wind up the yarn, a special way to make it easier when you knit, and I will show on this yarn later.
In a little moment, yes.
And you see it goes like this. So you change for every time. If you want to make the effect of a fishbone, which you get on the inside, because the outside is the inside. So when the hat is finished, you turn it inside out like this. So this is the outside of the hat.
That's very cool.
And normally you would go the same direction all the time. But if you change the direction, you get this fishbone
pattern, which is really, really cool.
But you see, this one gets a little bit shorter because it doesn't go as far as the one that goes from right to left. When you go from left to right, it's shorter, but you still get this effect.
Cool.
So this was used for mittens in the old days, and the reason why they did it like this is because it's water repellent and it's warmer, but warm. You also made these loops. You use the needle and thread, and you make like loops in the stitches on the outside, which is the outside when you knit it, and that becomes the inside. So it gets even thicker.
Yeah, so you turn them inside out.
You turn it inside out.
You get a nice insulated, waterproof fabric that is perfect for the climate conditions that we have in our part of the world. So originally twine knitting was for mittens, but you can use them in other kinds of techniques or kinds of garments as well.
And it's helpful to be two when you make it.
Yeah, well,
you can.
You're knitting and I'm twisting the balls.
Twisting. But you see now I started now I was going this way, but if you go the other way, that's when the fishbone turn. Then you go like this. Now this one has to come under. And you see, then you get shorter threads than when you go from right to left. So this is like the other way. You can see it better on this side.
Cool. I suppose that at some point, Arne, when you're knitting a hat, and usually you cast on, in this particular pattern, you're casting on, is it 64 stitches?
Again, yeah.
You cast on 64 stitches, you knit your rib. Usually we like a 2x2, so we do two purl on the rib for a few centimeters. I would say that is about 5 centimeters around. So approximately 5 centimeters, and then we start with the twine knitting, which we go around and around and around. And if you want to do the fishbone pattern, you have to change direction, right?
Yep.
But at one point, sooner or later, Arne, you are going to need to start decreasing and creating those seams that are going to be going towards the 0 point. Yeah. So I'm interested in knowing a little bit about those decreases. Yeah. Is there anything special you do, and would you like to show us a little bit of a decrease so that people that want to go do the pattern for this hat are confident that they will be able to manage the decreases too?
Yeah, I can start now. I just knit backwards later and fix it.
Okay.
But when you do the decreasing, like on like 4 sides, no, four
sides,
then it will be a little bit. A change in the pattern because when you
obviously you'll get seams.
Yeah, because you go over and over and over. So when you knit together, like if the first one is white, you knit the white one and you lift over, and then you have to do the green one. So you get 2 next to each other when you decrease. But you still continue doing the same when you're on knit, and you have to get white on green and green on white.
Okay, I understand, yeah. And then you
do that on the other side, when
I
knit 2 together, I will do that in white, but then I need another white because it was a green.
Yeah.
So there will be a little difference where you decrease. Yeah. But that's normal.
That's going to be just like if it was a seam, basically. So, and you're explaining everything in the pattern, right? So everything's explained in the pattern. So if you feel like you've missed something, like it went too fast, like we didn't say it clear enough, go to our website at arnecarlos.com, print the pattern, read it carefully, and then compare what is on the pattern to what we're saying here today. And I'm sure that you'll figure it out. It shouldn't be that hard.
No, and if you have problems getting even tension when you knit like this, you can always remember, you can do it the twine band way, that you move one yarn to the finger when you need it. Even if you're not doing twine band, just if you do normal knitting, because then your stitches will be more or less even. If you look at the stitches on the outside, which is the inside, it's more or less the same size.
Cool. So Arne, I'm very curious about the balls.
So let me show you the ball.
Yeah, what I want to know is, can you show me how to wind the ball so that you don't get the issues that we're talking about here?
So we didn't wind this one because this yarn is so thick, so it will be a huge ball. Yeah. But if you had a thinner yarn, you keep a tail in your hand and you start winding up the yarn like this. In the first color, I can just do a little bit just to show, like this, and then you do the second color on top of this one. But as I said, like when my mother did this, she normally used one color, but she was always winding up the yarn like this. But if you read about twine band, I can say it.
Twined
band knitting.
No, twined knitting.
Twined knitting. This is so difficult. It's always written, it's something about how the yarn is spun, if it's a S or a Z. So there's something about that. But when you do it like this, I don't think you have to think about that. So let me see. And now when you knit, you can take one yarn from the inside and one from the outside.
Very smart.
And when you knit like this, it's nice to have a ball. And then you can just do this.
Perfect.
And it goes back into the ball. This is how my mother did it.
That's really clever. And I mean this...
So you knit and you open it and you knit and open it.
That's really clever, yeah. And this is a great thing. I mean, I'm glad I learned this today, I have to say. Because I didn't know this from before.
So if you knit a Christmas ball and you have problems with yarn tangling or other stuff, you can always wind it up like this. And
hey, that's a whole different tutorial.
And just do opens.
Yeah, cool. I thought we were going to do a hat tutorial, but we also wound up some balls for you guys, which is really good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, twine knitting.
My mother was really smart.
She's very smart. But I think that this is a typical old wives' tale.
Probably.
Or what is it? What it is? No, it's not an old wives' tale. Old wives' tale. It's the one. Kärringeråd. What's that in English?
I think that will be very bad in English.
Oh, okay.
So don't say it in English. It's an old wife's tale or advice. No. Yeah.
So anyway, that's a great piece of advice.
I think we should stop now.
Yeah, I think we should stop. That's a great piece of advice if you have a thinner weight yarn. However, if you have a thinner weight yarn, you won't be able to knit this hat using our pattern because you need more stitches, obviously. So,
but if you knit a mitten,
if you knit something in twine knitting using a DK weight or a fingering weight yarn, then you can use the wind-up technique from here. With this, you would end up with a massive ball, which you don't want.
And you can take any pattern, even if it's with pattern, like roses and stuff, and you can just knit them in two colors like this.
Good. So we were going to learn about twine knitting, and we also learned a little bit about how to wind up two colors into one ball, which is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Remember that you can go to our website to download the pattern, the chart.
And you will see a picture of the finished hat.
Is there a chart, by the way?
Of course.
Yes. So download the pattern, the chart,
of course.
And everything at arnecarlos.com. And remember that if you like the video, hit it with a thumbs up.
No, there's no chart this time. It's like you have to knit from memory. 64 stitches.
Yeah, but
knit 2 purl, and then you just knit, change color for every stitch and decrease on 4 sides.
Yeah, but there is a
pattern.
But there is no chart.
There's a chart. I will make a chart.
Okay, we'll make a chart. And remember to tune in next week when we have a new tutorial for you again. Remember to subscribe, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.